Bosch steam oven gained huge popularity in Europe, where it was first brought to market a few years ago. So we are thrilled that it is now featured in the new Benchmark series here in the United States. The ovens do come with their own trays, both half-size solid and perforated and full-size trays. These trays fit conveniently into tray slides in the oven, enabling you to cook many things at one time. In addition to these trays, we can use large casserole dishes and small roasting pans. Now, why a steam oven? Well, because that compact oven has a huge array of choices for you. You can steam foods, whether it's vegetables, grains, seafood. You have a lot of options for steaming. When it comes to roasting, you can use the true convection mode without steam, or you can use the combination convection steam mode for roasting meats, vegetables, braising the less lean tender cuts of meat like short ribs and pork shoulder and pot roast. You can also use it for baking. And everybody's favorite, when you reheat with your Bosch steam oven, your food will be just heated through to perfection, and you'll really feel as though you're eating freshly cooked food. So when you take into account all those huge options, the wide variety of things you can do with your steam oven, that small oven suddenly becomes a very important tool for your kitchen. As you can see, the steam oven fits beautifully over a 30-inch Bosch convection oven. You have quite a few options for installation for the steam oven. Other options include installing a storage drawer available from Bosch or a warming drawer directly underneath the oven. Two things I find so important with steam ovens. The first is make sure that the interior cavity is very accessible to you, because you're going to be using this so much. You want to have ease of access with all the different trays going in and out of the oven. Before you use the steam oven, you'll actually remove the water tank and fill it with water. You'll use water from the tap. You will not need to use any special water at all. When you want to steam vegetables, grains, fish, or even chicken, eggs or seafood, simply touch the steam icon. The temperature will default to 212. You can lower it if you prefer, but you can't make it go higher. Simply touch enter, and then you can set either a kitchen timer, which is a minute timer, or an oven timer. The oven timer will actually turn the oven off. This is one of the great benefits of cooking with this oven, layering multiple dishes in, setting the timer, and then getting out of the kitchen while it cooks. It only takes a couple of minutes for the oven to preheat. When it's steaming at low temperatures, you will see a lot of moisture in the cavity. When you slide in these perforated pans, it's recommended you have a solid pan underneath so that debris doesn't fall into the evaporated dish. The other option for steaming is to use the preset vegetable mode. We know that if you haven't used a steam oven before, it's really helpful to have some training wheels. And in this mode, you're simply going to scroll through the options, find the vegetable that's appropriate to the one that you're cooking. This one says peeled potatoes. I'll touch enter. It tells me which pans to use, which rack position to use, and it asks me to verify the weight. If I need to change the weight, I simply just change the weight and touch enter. Now, I don't have to worry about anything because the time has been automatically computed. So this automatic or these pre-programmed modes are very helpful when you're getting used to working with a steam oven for the first time. Now, one of the great things about cooking with a steam oven is that when you cook in steam, there's no transference of flavor. That's why you're able to cook a complete meal at one time. This is just one of the most amazing things you can do with this steam oven. Healthy food, easily prepared, and you'll be astounded at the great, delicious tastes. Now, when you want to roast any type of meats, bake breads, or bake any type of dessert, or roast vegetables, then the mode to choose is the combination steam convection. You can choose the temperature that's appropriate for the type of food you're cooking. 330 to 340 is a good temperature range for this oven. When you roast foods in convection, they have a lot of moisture retention. When you add the steam into that equation, it inhibits the cellular breakdown. So the results of your roasting will be truly spectacular. Again, there is a preset mode on the oven that's designed for chicken. If you use the preset mode, it will again prompt you for the types of pans to use, the rack positions. It will ask you to verify the weight, and then it will compute the time for you. But generally you'll find that it will still take you about an hour to roast a chicken. Most meats will cook in recipe time in this oven. Now, if you want to cook a complete meal where you've got roasting some meat and some vegetables at the same time, remember, only add your vegetables in a little bit later in the cooking time so they'll be ready to serve when the meat is ready to serve. Now, when we braise in the steam oven, we're taking the cuts of meat that aren't the tender ones, like the short ribs and the pot roast and the pork shoulder, the ones that make all the really yummy dishes. We also use the steam convection mode, but then we drop the temperature down to either 320 or even as low as 300. You need time to cook this type of meat, so plan for the recipe time, an hour and a half to 2 hours. It will always take at least that time. As you can see, this large braising pan fits beautifully into the oven, again proving that the size of the oven is not a handicap at all. You really can cook large quantities of food in here at all times. Now, one of everybody's favorite modes on the steam oven is reheating. We've made this delicious looking French toast casserole. So the great thing about this is that you can make it the day before because it takes time, about 40 to 50 minutes to cook. But when you want to serve it for breakfast or brunch the next day, simply choose the reheat mode. The temperature defaults to 210 degrees. You can set the amount of time that you want to use for the reheat. A large casserole like this will take at least 15 to 20 minutes. But the benefit of reheating in this steam oven from Bosch is that it doesn't dry the food out, it regenerates it. It brings it back to life so it's as though it's freshly cooked. So these are a few really great modes to get you interested in understanding the steam oven. There's a wealth of information in the user guide. You'll find that once you start using this oven, in no time, your cooking will just be transformed and you'll be turning to use this oven for almost everything.